Now from the station on your side, you're watching Wavy News 10.
Right now at 6, holiday getaway round 2. Christmas is over for most. Now it's time to head somewhere for the New Year's holiday. But come the first day of 2024, it's everyone home, and that could mean a jam-packed journey on the roads. At least the weather's looking pretty good. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Friday night. We begin at 6 with plenty of you heading out again, this time on a journey to say farewell to 2023. So it should come as no surprise that you will not be alone. It's all part of the 115 million people traveling somewhere for the holidays between the days before Christmas and New Year's Day. That part in a moment, but the weather is looking good for your plans. We'll get started with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Edmondson. Jeff, we've had some showers out there, so how are things looking for the weekend?
The weekend looks to be dry across our area, but this rainfall is something that we'll see just for our Friday night. We have light to moderate rain across our area that's been moving in and through the region for the last couple of hours. Here's a look at Super Doppler 10 for just the past 2 hours. You can see how this rain has been developing right on top of us, and it's going to continue for a couple more hours. Not seeing any big showers or any thunderstorms, nothing like that, but we do have some pockets where it could be raining a little bit harder, or there may even be some ice pellets mixed in too. We have some rain in Elizabeth City right now, all the way down to the west and south of Chesapeake, and also towards South Mills. You're seeing some rainfall. That rain extends into Norfolk and Portsmouth. A couple of showers also across the peninsula right now. Here's the south side, Virginia Beach. More rain coming down. More rain in Portsmouth. Some rain in Chesapeake. Some rain also moving into Newport News and near Smithfield too. Towards Williamsburg, some rain that's been coming down, and it's just been continuous for the last little bit, a little band of it right over your area that goes all the way to Gloucester Courthouse. Not too much going on in Matthews right now, but there's some more rain on the other side of the bay into the eastern shore. You're going to see a fair amount of rain because it's not just this that's over your area now, it's all of this that still has yet to move to the north. So rainfall, count on it for your Friday night. We'll see dry weather move in for tomorrow and for the weekend. Temperatures will be in the low 50s. More on this coming up.
Jeff, thank you. Make sure you have that Wavy Weather app for the latest from Super Doppler 10. Just scan the QR code on your screen to get the free app on your phone. If you are hitting the road, tonight isn't a bad time to do it. Tomorrow may be a different story. That's when it's expected to be busier. No doubt a lot of people are hitting the road for a second time this weekend thanks to decent gas prices. They've stayed steady over the past week and are down from a month ago. So how are things looking out on the roads tonight? 10 on your sides, Raven Payne is out there now with more on the New Year's getaway. Raven?
Yes, well, according to AAA, tomorrow these roads won't look as calm as they do tonight. Millions of people will be driving this holiday season. So I spoke with a AAA spokesperson on how drivers can stay safe heading into 2024. AAA marks the year-end holiday season from December 23rd to January 1st. They expect over 115 million people to travel more than 50 miles during this season. Ryan Adcock, Tidewater AAA spokesperson, broke down those numbers for Virginia. Over 3 million Virginians are predicted to travel one way or another over 50 miles this season, with over 2.8 million of them driving. He tells me that's an increase from last year.
Moving away from the very, 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 very tail end of COVID, some of that could be consumer behavior towards the airline industry if people are choosing to drive to destinations that they were previously flying to.
He details what traffic is going to look like heading into New Year's.
Monday be a slight pickup in traffic for people coming back from their New Year's Eve destinations, but we're forecasting that today is going to be an increase in traffic than we already see on the day-to-day, especially down here. For today, we are forecasting from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. to be a heavy period of traffic.
Jermaine Simpson II is traveling to Richmond. He tells me he's not expecting much traffic heading up to the state capitol.
We've probably got it on a good foot right now because everybody's been out for the holidays, for Christmas and everything like that. So, I mean, we shouldn't run any traffic. But for the New Year's, it's probably going to be a little traffic on the way back.
However, he says he doesn't have a set plan for how to avoid traffic on the first day of 2024.
We'll see. I'm just using Google Maps, so we'll see how Google Maps works.
And Ryan has some tips for how drivers and pedestrians can stay safe this holiday season. For pedestrians, always be aware when you're using a crosswalk. And for drivers, always move over when you see a first responder or any tow trucks like AAA's. Live in Portsmouth, Raven Payne, tell on your side.
All right, Raven, thank you. We appreciate it. While we're at it, here's a live look at Norfolk International Airport. We checked FlightAware for you. No cancellations and only about a dozen delays in and out of the airport. But there are thousands of delays nationwide, so make sure to check your flight before you head out. You can always get the latest travel information anytime over on wavy.com. New tonight, video just in of an overnight shooting in Portsmouth. It happened just after 3 a.m. on Pelican Point near Twin Pines Road. Police say a 55-year-old man was shot by someone. He suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police are still actively looking for a suspect. Also tonight, developing news in Norfolk, where police arrested 2 teens for the shooting of another on a light rail train. It happened last night in the area of Bank Street downtown. We're told the victim is 14 years old. The police chief said it all started when 2 groups of teens who didn't get along spotted each other. Police got there quickly and the boy was rushed to the hospital. The suspects were caught a short time later on Tidewater Drive. People downtown told our Nick Broadway they were shocked to hear where the shooting happened.
No, I don't have any problems going to the light rail. No problems at all. I don't know what's going on.
I honestly believe that the elders should step up. The young guys look up to. They listen to their music. They follow on social media. It just need to change. It just need to be a whole culture shift.
HRT has stepped up security on its light rail trains. The agency is also working with police to increase patrols on light rail platforms. New information on yesterday's deadly stabbing in Norfolk. Police have arrested 30-year-old Demetrius Bryant for the death of 54-year-old Michelle Ford. Police say it happened just before 11:30 Thursday morning on Peterson Street. Bryant is charged with second-degree murder. He's in the Norfolk City Jail without bond. Well, the last thing you want to take with you into 2024 is some kind of crud. But the uptick in viruses is a very real thing. The CDC says flu cases for Virginia, North Carolina, and to our south are very high. Those are the darker shades there on the map you can see. If you are up north for the holiday, it's still high, but at least it's a little bit better. 10 on your side's Amy Avery joins us with what doctors are saying about being busy with the surge of sickness. Amy?
Well, Lena, waiting rooms at area urgent cares are starting to fill up with people, many with flu-like symptoms. Patient First on Holland Road tells us this week has been much higher in terms of influenza compared to just last week. Some people are taking more than gifts home from holiday gatherings. They're coming back with germs.
About 50% of our visits right now have been for upper respiratory complaints like sinus congestion and cough, fevers, and flu-like illnesses.
Dr. Mark Haggerty runs the telehealth division for Centera and says they're seeing cases of the flu, COVID, and RSV as well. He says respiratory etiquette is important.
Coughing and sneezing into a tissue or into your elbow rather than into your hand. Hand hygiene, also very critical.
Over at Patient First on Holland Road in Virginia Beach, some people are parking in the grass because they're running out of spots. Dr. Trisana Amdadi says it's important to go to the doctor early so they can figure out what's going on.
If we're able to catch the flu and we know it's flu in those first 72 hours, it can be much more helpful to start a medicine to prevent the secondary outcomes that we're trying to avoid.
So it is really good, particularly if you're not able to kind of deal with your symptoms on your own at home, to see a provider, and telehealth is an excellent way to do that.
And Dr. Amdadi says as kids head back to school, it's important to set a good example.
The kids will oftentimes mimic the parents, so if you guys can, adults can be the ones that they're mimicking, making sure that you're washing your hands before you eat and drink.
And Dr. Haggerty says despite being late in the season, it's still important to get your flu shot.
There's a report of a study out of Wisconsin showing a 54% effectiveness rate for this vaccine, which is the best that it's been in about 10 years.
Now, if you are interested in learning more about telehealth or virtual care appointments with Centera, you can visit wavy.com. You don't have to be a Centera patient, and there is a self-pay option if you don't have health insurance. Amy Avery, 10 on your side.
Amy, thank you. One thing we don't like about the clean slate of a new year are the rising prices of tolls. Ahead on Wavy News 10 at 6, what you need to know when it comes to paying more come 2024. Others like to cross the river on a ferry, but you'll soon see one that's newly retired and getting a new job thanks to a local woman and her special story. And in sports, some more changes for the Commanders before their big game against the Niners this weekend. And Jeff with more on the forecast heading into a fresh new year, all as we continue on this Getaway Friday night.
From the station on your side, you're watching Wavy News 10 at 6.
Well, when you go to work on Tuesday, you'll be paying out a little bit more money for the commute. Yep, it's time for tolls to go up. Starting New Year's Day, it'll cost you $3.06 to use the downtown and midtown tunnels during peak times with your Easy Pass. It'll be a little less during off-peak times. If you're using pay-by-plate or driving a truck, you will pay higher rates. If you use the South Norfolk Jordan Bridge, that toll goes up to $3.25 each way all the time. The toll is higher for larger trucks and vehicles. And for the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, peak season rates will be $21 for cars. That is May 15th to September 15th. Off-peak will be $16. There are a lot of numbers to crunch in all these increases. Head to wavy.com for the full list. Next at 6, a new life for an old standby on the Elizabeth River. An area woman's plans for her new purchase when we come back. And a chilly start to the new year for Hampton Roads. Jeff has your weekend forecast and more, all right after this break.
From the station on your side, you're watching Wavy News 10 at 6.
One of the Elizabeth River ferries is getting a new life up on the eastern shore. HRT auctioned off some of the older boats recently after buying new ones. Wavy.com digital reporter Brian Reese caught up with a woman who has new plans for the ferry. All new at 6.
Dawn Neville was downright giddy on this sunny winter morning in Portsmouth.
I've got to crank that puppy up to maybe 10.
The 71-year-old Queens, New York native was here to pick up her 65 by 22-foot baby, the Elizabeth River Ferry 3. The blue and white ferry that took passengers from Norfolk and Portsmouth was just retired in 2023 after 40 years of service. And Dawn got it at auction for $160,000.
I was under my 200. I was bargain shopping and it worked. That's beautiful.
Dawn is the daughter of a sailor, but she's never had her own boat, not even a kayak. She says she couldn't even imagine doing this sort of thing until she saw the listing. But she pitched the idea to her husband Jim to turn it into a cruise vessel in Cape Charles, where the pair have lived together for just about a decade.
He said, "What would you do with it if you got it?" I said, "Well, I'd have cruises at lunchtime, dinner time, I'd have live music, put a bar on it, party on."
I'm going, oh yeah, okay. Well, so much for the retirement plan.
You wouldn't have known it on this day, but she's been getting blood transfusions and chemotherapy for the past 7 years.
It's inspired Dawn, she's got the energy back, and so now she's bubbly and bouncy again.
I'm bleeding internally all the time. To work 12 and 14-hour days, to not even be able to work for 2 hours is horrible.
She credits her recovery to the staff at Riverside Shore Memorial.
The nurses are beyond compare. The chemotherapy that I'm taking stops blood vessels from forming or bleeding. And it works on some people and some people it doesn't. And thank God it does work on me. So we're pumped.
With just 4 treatments left to go, she's ready to raise the anchor and cruise into a new phase in her life. One that's a little busier than previously expected.
So this rascal is going to take up a lot of my time, and it's better to not plan a funeral and to plan runs on the boat, cruises, things to make people happy.
She plans to add 2 bathrooms and 2 bars.
I'm going to have all kinds of lights under here too.
And maybe even a chandelier, all wrapped in red, white, and blue.
I just want to make it really look like it's something from the 1920s.
Dawn and Jim have already assembled a crew, and if all goes as planned, they hope to start cruises in late spring 2024.
The few people that we've told are really excited, and everybody said, "Oh my goodness, it's so great for Cape Charles because we don't have anything like that." She's going to be on the bay. She's right here, locally. Yay!
Brian Reese, 10 on your side.
That is super exciting, and you can read more about the new ferry on wavy.com. Just look for this story on the homepage.
Now, your Super Doppler 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Edmondson.
An evening cruise on the bay sounds nice, especially once we get into the warmer months. Tonight, not very warm outside. It's cold and wet out there with the rain that's coming down across our area tonight. Here's a look at Tower Cam 10. We've seen some scattered showers move across our area throughout the night. Here's a look at Super Doppler 10. Light rainfall right now, and it's extending all the way into the eastern shore. Cape Charles all the way to the north. Melfa, Nancock, and also Exmoor. You're seeing that rain come down. Light rainfall also around Elizabeth City, but let's look to the Hampton Road cities. Franklin, you're seeing some light rainfall. Suffolk, a little bit of rain coming in right now. Smithfield as well. Newport News, Hampton, not too heavy at the moment, but there are some showers that'll be pushing in. Also into Chesapeake, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach. There's some zones where it's a little bit heavier, and where we see these areas of yellow and red, there could be some ice pellets that are mixed in. The atmosphere is really cold, so that's a possibility that we have a little bit of that mixing in. Now, ice pellets for tonight and for the weather pattern that we have right now won't cause any issues, so we won't have slippery roads because of that. Just a little phenomenon feature that's happening because the air and the atmosphere may be cold enough to support that. Here's a look at the peninsula once again, all the way to Gloucester Point. You're seeing that rainfall. And then as we look to North Carolina, not as heavy right now, just a few showers here or there around Elizabeth City. Middle Peninsula and Williamsburg, too, on the peninsula, some rainfall coming in. Finally, some rain in Matthews. And the eastern shore, you're seeing the rain into your area too. It's all part of the remnants of the storm system swinging through the area. You can see how the rain just developed in the last couple of hours. We'll see this going into the night ahead, and then we'll start to see drier weather into the weekend. Colder weather also on the way for the weekend too. And I know these 4 places are looking forward to colder weather. 4 of the closest ski resorts to our area: Snowshoe at 28 trails open, Massanutten and Wintergreen at about 6 to 8 trails open. They haven't seen that number increase. They've just been holding on to what they have. The week ahead should be colder, especially in the night. They're going to be able to pump some more snow, get those snow guns on, and there should be better skiing conditions going into January. For travel tomorrow, Norfolk Airport, there probably will be some delays. When we look at the regional airports, not seeing anything really big across kind of the eastern half of the country, but there could be a couple of spots that see a little bit of snow. Pittsburgh might see some snowfall. Also LA, San Francisco, Seattle. So there could be a few delays around the network. Not anything major, though, happening tomorrow for air travel. Should be mostly okay. The rain is just for tonight. The rain will be gone tomorrow. We'll see the rain lift to the north in the next couple of hours, clearing out for your Saturday morning. Saturday looks to be dry and sunny. Sunday also looks just as good with sunshine across our area. But colder tomorrow, though, only at 50 degrees for the high temperature. So highs in the 40s and 50s for our Saturday, low 50s on Sunday for New Year's Eve. And then Monday, we're looking at a high of 53 degrees. Keep in mind on Sunday night, New Year's Eve, temperatures will drop down to 38 degrees. So it will be pretty cold that night, but no rain in store for us as we ring in the new year. There will be rain on Monday night, though. A couple of showers before Tuesday sunrise, and then Thursday also some rain.
What the heck's going on with the Washington Commanders? Is it Sam Howell? Is it Jacoby Brissett? Who knows at this point? Coming up in sports is a new development out of D.C. that could lead to Howell under center this Sunday. We'll break it down after the break. So less than 24 hours ago, I was standing in this exact spot telling you at home how the Washington Commanders put a struggling Sam Howell on the bench in favor of a solid veteran option in Jacoby Brissett. And that's who they were going to roll with for the rest of the season, right? Eric Bieniemy said that the team just needed a spark. Ron Rivera told us that we can't look at Sam's benching as a punishment. But now things look like they could be shifting back in the direction of Howell taking FedEx Field for the Commanders and their upcoming matchup with the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday because of this. Just a few hours ago, the Commanders listed their inactives and questionables for Sunday's game, and you'll notice that just days after being listed as a starter for this team, Brissett is questionable with a hamstring injury that Ian Rappaport said he suffered during today's practice. But that doesn't mean he's out, and we're still a few days from kickoff. And if Brissett were to start, it would make him the 9th starter in the Ron Rivera coaching tenure. The quarterbacking carousel continues, but I digress. Howell is still in the cards to come back, and he has struggled as of late a lot. Since week 11, Sam has the lowest passer rating in the NFL at 53.2, only 2 passing touchdowns, which is wild because he could sling it when he was hot. On top of that, he's turning the ball over more with 8 interceptions. That leads the league, and a league worst 0-5 record. Eric Bieniemy has been vocal about the fact that Howell has not been good. In fact, he pretty much said that word for word yesterday.
He just didn't play well, and unfortunately, that happens. And it's not like anything that you can put your finger on.
The NFL knows that Sam is ice cold right now, and even though the Commanders are coming up against a juggernaut defense in the 49ers, EB still has faith in Howell. And that guy who was leading the NFL in passing yards at one point this season, in his mind, is still in there somewhere.
Obviously, the production has not spoken well for itself, but he's done a great job. He's a professional. He's a young kid growing in this industry. And I'll say that sometimes without any bad luck, you wouldn't have any good luck at all.
Kickoff against the Niners is New Year's Eve at 1 p.m. And remember to tune into the Washington Huddle tonight at 10:30. Craig Loper and Scott Jackson break down the latest news coming out of D.C., as well as a preview for the Commanders' upcoming matchup with San Francisco. So their season is all but over. They didn't clinch a playoff spot. They're looking at a potentially top 3 spot in the draft, and the best quarterback in the country right now is a DC native. So who knows if they get that number 1 spot and they draft a stud? Who knows?
Maybe it'll all work out for a reason.
Potentially.
Potentially.
But bleak right now.
There's a lot to happen between now and then, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are.
Yeah, it's early to do that. But for tonight, we're going to see some light rainfall across our area. The weekend looks dry. We'll have temperatures in the 50s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. If you take down your holiday decorations this weekend, you have good weather to do that. We have some rain on the way Monday night.
And next year will be here in just a few days, Jeff. I can't believe it.
Got to write 24 on those checks.
There you
still
go.
Write a check.
Do you still write checks?
No. I haven't wrote a check in a while.
It's our last 6 p.m. for 2023. Have a great night, everyone.